Something that cinema offers is sense of scale. I mean, that will vary from place to place. Obviously our sense of scale is tiny compared to an IMAX sense of scale, but it's just something different really. You're kind of enveloped by the whole thing. You're sat in a dark room. If you're a regular, you're familiar with the environment, but if you're sat at home, then you're more likely to be interrupted by things, or you're just stripped away from the outside world and you're just sat kind of like in isolation. One thing that digital has done, it's freed up the access that we've had to smaller films. When we still had 35mm, the number of prints that a distributor had to make was limited by their finance. If you're distributing a small film and reels cost £1,000 each or something, and it's like a 5-reel film, and that will limit the number of screens that you can send it to, particularly in the first run, by how many prints you can afford to make. Whereas now you download everything onto a drive, a DCP that's about the same size as a car radio. It's like having a rewritable disc. I think most blockbusters these days, they have a release date a good 18 months before they even start to shoot the thing. There's a website that we use which lists the release dates for all the films. So these things have release dates sometimes before the previous sequel has even come out. If we just had 35mm, then we couldn't do live things. It's not your average film going kind of audience. So I would say that over the last 3 or 4 years, that's been some of the most exciting stuff that we've shown. It's as exciting, if not more exciting, than film.
What an approach here! Bending of legs and jutting out of bums. I doubt whether their bows be worth the sums that are given for them. Friendship.
There will always be technological improvements. 4K is something that some studios produce their films in. A high-profile Sony film, for instance, you can guarantee it will be in 4K, it will look fantastic. Some of it will be restricted to the industry, so they can shoot on 4K or 5K, but they won't necessarily have the option to show it at that. At the end of the day, we are in business to show stuff. We have all the trimmings and we dress it up with comfy seats and customer service and wine. But at the end of the day, we're only as busy as the popularity of the films we show. Sometimes we show stuff that doesn't find an audience. So if it's good and if it sells tickets and if it builds on our catalogue of films, then bring it on.